I've gotten a few questions of people asking, when do I use the quadratic equation, or why can't I just use the easier methods? And so I thought I'd give you an example of why the easier methods aren't always going to work. Those shortcuts are not always going to work. So let's start with the example 2x squared plus 3x minus 4. Like always, we're going to start by identifying our a, our b, and our c. Our a is 2, our b is 3, and our c is negative 4. I'm going to write that off to the side just to be like extra safe, make sure I remember everything. A is 2, b is 3, c is negative 4. And maybe you want to start to try factoring by grouping. So you make a big X. On the top is the products of A and C, and the bottom is B. So 2 times negative 4 gives me negative 8, and there's a positive 3 on the bottom. And what I have to ask myself is, are there 2 integers that are going to multiply to get the top, so multiply to get negative 8, and add to get positive 3 on the bottom? So that's why you might see me do this sometimes. If I have a little multiplication sign up top, addition on the bottom, just because I still tend to forget which one is which sometimes. But what you're going to start to notice is that, oh, there isn't anything. I can't figure out anything that is going to multiply to get the top and add to get the bottom. So this method's not going to work. This is the furthest I could get, but I still need to get my factors. So I'm going to erase all of this and start over with the quadratic formula. This is where the quadratic formula comes into play. So if I think back to my equation, negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a, I can start to plug things in. So negative b, negative 3, plus or minus the square root of 3 squared minus 4 times a, which is 2, times c, which is negative 4. All that is going to be divided by 2 times 2. Simplifying this, I would end up getting negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 9, which is 3 squared, plus 4, negative 4 times 2 is going to give me negative 8, times negative 4 is going to give me a positive 32. And we'll just have those in parentheses and say all divided by 4, 2 times 2. So negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 32 plus 9, or 41, all divided by 4. I can't reduce my 3 and my 4. So this is, that's pretty much as far as I can go. I can't really divide up 41 into the product of perfect squares. So this is where my final step comes in, which is to break this apart. I'm going to go ahead and erase, let's see, my top part, just so I can have some space. I'll erase all of it. Negative 3 plus or minus the root of 41 divided by 4. Plus or minus the square root of 41 divided by 4. This is going to be broken apart into 2 different answers, 2 different factors. The first will be negative 3 plus the square root of 41 divided by 4. And the second will be negative 3 minus the square root of 41 divided by 4. And because these are not going to reduce, That's all I can do. I'm going to leave my answers in this format and know that these would be my factors. There's no way when I was doing that big X method, I would have figured out my factors like this. Leave them in radical form, and that's it. That's all you have to do. That's why the quadratic equation is so helpful.